listening to Phantasm Podcast, a horror death metal podcast for the old school. Join your hosts Corey Gorechrist and Dr. Vincent West as they stuff horror movie reviews and death metal interviews all in one body bag. Listen on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, and like on Facebook, and head over to StageDiverRadio.com for more.
Hey, what's up? This is Eric Peterson from Testament and Dragonlord. And you are listening to Phantasm Podcast.
Phantasm.
Corey Gorechrist, Phantasm Podcast. We have the honor of speaking with the one, the only, Eric Peterson of Testament and Dragonlord. How you doing, man?
Good. What's up, man?
Not much. Very exciting. First Dragonlord album in 12 years. Comes out September 21st on Spinefarm Records. From what I've heard, it's a bitchin' record, man.
Oh, sweet. Were you able to hear the whole thing?
Yes. It
sweet.
Blew me away. I mean, I was really amped up that you were doing more of the Dragonlord stuff, and definitely wasn't disappointed. So
sweet.
Yeah. So
yeah,
everybody
it came out pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's a lot of different styles and different darker subjects and stuff. But it's kind of all over the place a little bit. But
definitely
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very heavy too. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into that, I talked to Alex last weekend and Chuck before that, and got their opinions wrapping up the Slayer tour. What are your final thoughts on the wrap up of that?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I liked going on a little bit later. It gave people more time to get in.
Sure.
It was good though. I mean, overall, we got lucky with the weather. I think a lot of places that would have been super hot actually had some cooler weather, and
nice.
A lot of other places were like arenas inside, so we got to have lights and look like we had a show. We weren't playing in the daylight, but
right,
even the daylight with the songs that we picked, it was pretty chaotic, in the pit and stuff like that. Just got a lot of people going.
Oh, of course. And
we even seen pits like way up above.
Nice.
Which was pretty cool. Like there'd be like one on the left, one on the right, one in the pit. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It was great. It was a great tour, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of bittersweet,
Oh yeah, I mean they're great.
Slayer's show is just really rocking, and just lots of fire. They're playing every song you'd want to hear from Slayer. They were playing it.
Oh yeah, and the stage production was definitely amped up for this, and it was
all the fire.
And then the bands, they brought with them were just, perfect to you guys and Lamb of God, and, even now it's
it's like a night of metal history.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd say it was worth it, and a lot of people will remember this specific tour run, because, I saw them before with, the original lineup when they came back and did,
was that Lamb of God and Behemoth?
No, this was it was Megadeth and them, and it was whenever they did Seasons all the way through, and Megadeth did Rust in Peace. And I think Anthrax played too, and then
I think we did that. It was American Carnage. It was us.
That's it. Yeah.
Megadeth and Slayer. Yeah, and we did. I think we did the Legacy, maybe, or
yeah, you did
something like that.
Correct. And it was a blast, seeing the original guys, and then last year I saw the. Gary, who I love, and love Exodus, and then
you're in love with them.
Oh yeah, passionately.
Everybody loves Gary.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Good guy.
So the new lineup, it was cool to see all that with and then Paul coming back was great, and I think ending it with what they had is just that it's something to remember for sure, and it was a hell of a tour, and the bands that played with them that graced the stage were ones that definitely needed to be there at the end, including you guys, of course.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I do want to say, it was the June 8th show. I went up to Knoxville, Tennessee, and you guys played with Anthrax, and it was just like a one-off show. That was actually the last show at that venue, was that show. So
really?
Yeah, they closed it down after
that. What was the name of that place? I forgot.
The International.
Okay.
And it had been here since the early 90s. You know, it was called the Orpheum, and it was called the Electric Ballroom, Valerium. I mean, it's been under different names for a long time. But, you know, they've had, like, I think Danzig was there before in Death and Typo, you know. They've had a lot of history of stuff there. So it's kind of sad to see it go, but, you know.
Yeah, it was a good show. I had fun that night. That was cool.
Yeah, and it was definitely packed out. Everybody wanted to, you know, be there for that, so that was exciting. But yeah, you guys had a hell of a stage presence there. I've seen you guys a lot, but that was one of the best shows I think I've seen you guys do.
Oh, thanks.
It's incredible how a band like, you know, you guys just get better and better. It's ridiculous.
Well, we're having a lot of fun, and the songs just seem to mature as time keeps going. They just keep it's like our songs are like a fine wine.
Yeah, right.
You know, they just keep maturing and just keep getting better. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah.
That's good shit. Either way, it was excited to see you guys. It was awesome. You guys definitely delivered. But we're here for Dragonlord, that I'm really excited about talking about with you because, like I said, first album 12 years. Always loved the Dragonlord stuff that you did. So it's nice to see it coming back and finally getting out. It took 4 years in between testing.
It was like a normal record.
Yeah.
It's just when I had time to actually work on it.
Yeah.
There was always something going on. And in the beginning, everything got thrown off because the original drummer kind of disappeared in action, and we were kind of waiting around and didn't know what was going on. And by the time we kind of got everything rolling, it really wasn't rolling. And then I had to work on the Dark Horse record, and then I worked, and then I was introduced to Alex Bent, a new drummer.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of a weird decision, like, because I didn't want to do it without John, but at that point it was just like I just missed a couple of time frames when I could actually record, so I was like, man, I gotta make a decision. So when I met Alex and jammed with him, I knew, like, okay, this is kind of meant to be, this is gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, with all those hiccups like that, that's basically how the record went down. But so with all the problems and all the pushbacks, every time there was something else, like, okay, now there's this problem and you got to wait longer, or one of them was Machine had recorded their whole record, and I think they needed to go back in the studio and like do the record again somewhere else or something. I forgot what exactly it was.
Yeah.
And then I had a tour pop up, so I could.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my god, this is nuts. And then, but with all that being in mind, then Leah came into the picture. So if everything would have happened, it wouldn't have sounded the way it sounded, I don't think.
Yeah, it was all kind of meant to be.
Getting Leah to come in and redo all the choirs that Lyle had done on the keyboards.
Right.
So now everything on the record is like a real human voice with to do with the choirs.
And she's brilliant too.
Yeah, it just gave it that extra nudge of sounding more real. Not so. I mean, the keys sounded really good, but after we recorded the choirs and then you compared them to the keyboards, it was like now the keyboards sound like a demo.
Right.
So we were like, oh man, we have to do the whole record like this. So, but yeah, the end result was what you heard, and I'm just super happy that it did take 4 years, but it's one of those records that it just kept maturing.
Yeah.
And it needed the space, and I don't know, it's the weirdest record I've ever made, and it was a lot of fun, but yeah, I'm happy with it. It's good.
Good.
It's the best one so far, for sure.
I think so too. I mean, it sounds, it really delivers everything. Lives up to it. I think Leah did a fantastic job with the vocals and all that stuff. So definitely good. And the drums, everything is just I think exactly where it needs to be. It's a very
and then having like a slow song on there.
Yeah.
Having they call them ballads, but it's not a ballad.
Right.
But it's it's everything I do is clean singing on the whole thing. But it's cool in a way to where like when Opeth started doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how they turned it into where that's how he sings now. That song is kind of it's not influenced by that, but trying to explain it to people, it's going from the black metal to keeping the lyrical content dark, but the singing is more melodic.
Yeah,
and then having Leah at the end of it, summing up the story.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and I love the progression of it. A lot of people, of course, when Opeth did what they did and all that, they were like, "Oh, when are they going to do another death metal record?" It's like, well, they're not. I mean, he does Bloodbath once in a blue moon, and you can hear that, but as they progress, they're just doing their thing, and being musicians.
I miss some of it though, like the Blackwater Park stuff.
Oh, it's amazing.
I like how I forgot what song it is, but it starts off super death, and it just goes into this whole clean thing, and that was kind of inspiring to hear. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're a beautiful band for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so all the influences are there, and from the earlier black metal stuff. I'm talking like Merciful Fate.
Oh yeah.
Angel Witch, Venom. All those influences are on this record.
Yeah. For
me, I think Black Sabbath, and even some of the progressive, orchestrated stuff like from Misanthropic from France or Anorexia Nervosa, to the older Demu vibe that I was into.
Sure. I'll definitely hear that.
So yeah, all that stuff's there.
The total package. We want to do a quick track by track, if you would. We got for Dominion, we got the first track, Entrance.
Entrance is it starts with the gates creaking open, and it's just the sounds of it. It sounds like you're in a desolated wasteland.
Yeah.
The Dominion of Dragonlord. Anyway, it's off with like a commanding backwards riff,
right?
And it progresses into some war kind of drum pounding orc kind of sounds.
Yeah, it's very I guess you would say ominous, or something's about to...
it's definitely ominous.
You're in the shit. Sure. Something's about to go down.
Yeah, and then it blasts right into the title track, Dominion.
Yep.
People have heard that song, and Dominion is just like melodic black metal, just the vocals and everything, and it breaks down to like a more heavier kind of definitely slower pace, but it still has that's when the clean vocals kind of kick in a little bit.
Yeah.
Space between two solos, and next up is Ominous Premonition.
Mm-hmm.
And just the beginning of that, it reminds me of You're Now at the Gates of Hell.
Hell yeah.
It's got that. It's very wicked sounding. Just the choirs and the riff. You can hear definitely like the Merciful Fate influences there for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then it kicks in, and when I was doing the chord progression, it just reminded me of Murders in the Room or by Maiden a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the way the chords are moving. Maybe not the singing, of course, but it's just reminding me of that when it kind of got me excited because I was like, okay. So when I did the bass, I made sure there's all these little bass licks. I kind of modeled it after that. When people hear it, they're not going to hear it.
All right, the idea is there for sure.
What I heard, yeah. And then when it breaks down, that's where I don't want to say Venom, more like possessed. My vocals like just try to get more aggro.
Oh yeah.
And not punch in. I think I did it all in one go.
It's awesome.
I was reading the lyrics with, looking to the right.
Yeah.
Because I just wrote it, and then because I was just wanted to show Juan what I was going to do.
Right.
And then when we came back the next day, we didn't even listen to it, and I started doing it again, and he's like, I don't know, yesterday was pretty good. I'm like, let's see what I did, and I can mimic that. And we put it up, it was like, fuck, you got it. I was like, I don't even know what I was tripping on. It doesn't even sound like me, kind of. I mean, it does, but it had that kind of lazy, possess,
Yeah. Like
that
trip. That's awesome.
The next one is really influenced by this band called Misanthropic from France.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a song that Lyle came up with. Started the riff. I joined it and made it a little bit more. It's more of a hard rock, kind of upbeat song.
Yeah.
Still dark though. And the character that we talk about is called Lamia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Greek mythology, man-eating goddess kind of thing.
That's
character.
brutal. Yeah.
And it just kind of talks about her and things she does and her telepathy to read young men's minds. Kind of like a siren, I guess.
Yeah, basically. Only
that one's pretty cool. And Leah does some cool honking chants in that one for sure. She's kind of got her mark on that one all over the place.
Yeah.
The next one I think is Love of the Damned.
Yep, number 5.
That's the slower one, and that one reminds me of like a Sabbath song. I don't know why. When it first comes in, it just, I don't know, like something off Sabotage or something.
Yeah, a little rockin'. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's that one is kind of a story about Dante's Inferno, about Beatrice.
Love it.
How she gets taken to the underworld.
Yeah.
Captured by the Prince of Darkness, but in this story she stays in hell and falls in love with the devil.
That's bitchin'.
Yeah, the next one is the video that we just put out. It's called Northlanders.
Yeah, love the video.
Yeah, so this one's just, it's about the pagans and the Viking raids and stuff like that. It's kind of an abstract story. It's not pinpointed on one thing. It's just like scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
And the very cinematic. I mean, obviously the video I couldn't do what the lyrics.
Yeah, right.
That'd be like Game of Thrones or something crazy.
High production.
Yeah, but just kept it real and just kind of had all the instruments and the singing just tell the story, I guess.
Yeah, shred away and
simple. Yeah. The next one is The Discord of Melkor.
Yep, number 7.
That one is about the genesis of the first age of Lord of the Rings.
Awesome.
It has to do with Eowa and the Ainur.
Yeah.
And the Valinor were the elves. The Ainur were like the angels that created a symphony in the void. Eowa was like the god in the void.
That's awesome.
And Melkor was one of the head angels, kind of like the genesis of the Bible world.
Yeah.
Lucifer was the head angel, and when he went to Earth, he became Satan. And this story, Melkor goes down to Middle Earth and becomes Morgoth.
Huh.
And anybody that is a Lord of the Rings fan will know what I'm talking about. But it's kind of based on that, and the song was perfect for it because the middle part reminded me of the whole, reading the book, the Silmarillion, the way they describe the orchestra being made by the Ainur to create life in the void. There's a middle part in the song where there's like an orchestrated part.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
It's amazing.
And then the last track is Serpents of Fire. That's probably one of my favorite ones. I don't know why. I think I put it last because it's like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, it's long one.
It's super long. It's got like 3 songs in one.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the vocal pattern's cool to me. I like it. That's pretty wicked.
Oh yeah, it's
basically about just dragons, and there's more to the story than that, but it's kind of abstract of just wickedness in the world.
Yeah,
I guess
it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, was really excited when I got the record, and it's didn't disappoint. It sounds amazing. I can't wait for everyone else listening to hear it. Comes out September 21st on Spinefarm Records. First album from Dragonlord in 12 years, so it's definitely worth the wait. Dominion. It's a ripping ass record. I really enjoyed every bit of it, and it's epic.
Yeah, it's a long time. In 2006, that was our last show we did, was in Japan.
Oh wow!
And it kind of fell apart, the band. I wanted it to be more of a side project, kind of fun thing, and it started getting kind of dramatic with the members. And
yeah, that happens,
Yeah, and it just, we didn't have time to tour the world. We had short little things, and
yeah,
now it's funner. It's more of back to the project kind of thing, and
sure.
I'd definitely like to do some shows, but not
not wear it out. I guess
Yeah, not wear it out. Just keep it underground kind of still, and not
That's good.
I mean, we'll see what happens. It's a good record, so
yeah, and something like that, you can definitely see how good of a show it would be as far as the direction, stage production, not really like anything crazy, but you can definitely have fun with it, and if you had the time.
Oh yeah.
And put on a couple of killer shows, like maybe a couple of festival appearances or something crazy, just would definitely be worth it, and hearing that album live would just be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I think about it, I get kind of anxiety attacks, just going through the motions of getting there again, opening the wounds, and but when I listen to it and I get excited about it, that's when I'm like, yeah. But it's when I'm not, and then people ask me about it, are you going to do gigs? I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do that.
Just makes you want to puke. Yeah.
I just have to put the record on and have a couple beers, and then I'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
Maybe a little more than a couple, it depends on the...
Yeah. Drink a 6-pack.
Yeah. Or a 12, I'm not judging you, it's fine. Whatever gets the anxiety away, But yeah, either way, this record's amazing. It's well worth the wait. It's got so much longevity, and I don't think I'm going to get tired of it, or anybody else would. So even if you weren't playing shows, it's something you can keep popping in and
it's got a lot of nook and crannies, because I wrote it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it for a while, and I finally listened to it again, and I heard it in a whole different light. I was like, whoa, I don't remember doing that part, or wait, what's that part? When I know that, after mixing it for all those hours and putting in and arguing with Juan about, making sure everything was heard. And that's the one thing about this record, is there's so many different things going on, but everything's there. There's nothing that, there's nothing that got swept under the rug, or
it's good,
or got taken in place because, this part fits there and you can't hear everything. And that was the case at one point. And that's one of the reasons why it took so long, is we need to figure out how, the way I hear it in my head, I hear everything.
Yeah.
And if I hear it in my head, there's got to be a way to hear it on the speakers.
Right.
And, we did it.
Well, congratulations. It's a hell of a record, and it was, like I said, well worth the wait, and I'm excited for you that it's coming out and everyone else hearing it, and
sweet.
It's fucking awesome. The other segment we do, I didn't go over this with Alex, but I did with Chuck, and he told me that you were the horror fan of the group.
Mm-hmm.
So
true.
We're big on horror here at Phantasm, hence the name and everything. So what really got you into horror movies? Not really like your first one that you saw, but the one where you were like, this is
the
awesome.
One that scared the shit out of me and made me not want to sleep in my room or turn my light on at night.
Yeah.
Look under my bed and all that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
It was with Karen Black, and it was called The Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah.
And there's this doll she brings home.
It's a little like voodoo doll.
That fucker scared the shit out of me.
They're actually putting that out on a Blu-ray finally.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably corny now, but that thing. I mean, even my cousins, when I'd go stay at my grandparents, they're older, and they said go. They'd get a knife, and oh my god!
A little spear.
If that wasn't enough, I had to go see The Exorcist, and I didn't even know what the devil was at that point, or I didn't even know what Satan meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, That was the first one
I was like in 6th grade or something, and I was too young to see that.
Yeah.
And that just freaked me out, you know. And it probably molded me into wanting, listening to Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and all that stuff. I don't know.
Right.
It made me get into heavy metal when I was older.
Oh, yeah, it kind of goes hand in
hand.
But,
no, I mean, after that, yeah, The Exorcist is a movie that's still kind of, now I watch it and I'm just like, it's amazing. But
right.
It's still scary. It's still scary.
Yeah, it is. It's very real.
In a psychological way.
Yeah.
It's got a psychological effect on people, I think.
And a lot of shit happened during the filming of it that's notorious with it, and it's just kind of got that vibe to it where it's like, it seems real because, I mean, I don't know, some of it, they captured
it seems real.
Parts of it that were kind of real,
I mean, so many movies, they've tried to do movies like that ever since, and failed, or just never captured that spirit or that essence of that,
Plus, there wasn't really anything like that done before, and whenever they did it, I mean, they just did it right the first time.
There's some other movies that they've made lately that have kind of freaked me out a little bit. There's one called The Conjuring with this nun.
Oh, I love those movies. Those
with the painting, and then it's got the shadow of the body, and it moves. You can tell, you don't know at first what it's going to do.
Yeah,
but it goes to wall to wall, and it finally starts walking into the painting, and the body's going to stop on the painting.
Yeah.
And then it gets done.
Yeah, they actually stuck with you.
Am I going to look, or am I going to turn my head?
It got me too in theaters. I think that was The Conjuring 2. I think that was the part that everybody thought, because they just keep like zooming in on the painting. They're like, all right, when's it going to happen? And then it doesn't for like the second you think it's going to, and then it gets you. It was cool. And the whole Amityville thing in the beginning of that was really awesome, and
Yeah, that was creepy.
Those
There's
movies
one
are good.
My favorite cult movie though for like horror is Subspecies.
Yeah.
Radu, yeah, I just love all that stuff. I mean, it's so B film, but it's just, he's just awesome, man. His fingers, and how he just sucks the bloodstone, and he's just a creep. It's awesome. He's like the Freddy Krueger of vampires.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That reminds me of horror movie. When I think of that, or The Evil Dead, when they redid The Evil Dead.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I like the original one, but usually the remakes are kind of like, eh.
The Evil Dead was good, the remake, I thought. I mean, it was different, but it was... They made it its own movie.
When the girl's chopping her arm off, and then that girl underneath, the way she's like, no.
Well, they kept shooting that dude with a staple gun. That was crazy. I mean,
the
gore factor was really good. You got a little bit of a Slayer moment because it was raining blood, and it was really cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There was some thrash attack there, and it was nice.
Yeah, too bad they didn't put something like just go.
Something just really quick. I'm sure they wouldn't have cared.
Is it in there?
No, I'm saying they should have. Okay. They could have got away with like a just the drum beat. People would have known what it was.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I was very happy with that, and they didn't put somebody else as young Ash, and they didn't do anything weird. I mean, it was just they go to the cabin, and it's different people, but it's the same general thing, which.
Yeah.
They kind of do that with sequels in the first place. It's like, here's another group of idiots that are going and delving into spiritual things they're not supposed to, and there's instructions saying not to, and they do it anyway, and that they can sequel that, so technically I didn't really see it as like a remake. It was just kind of another Evil Dead almost,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think did they market it as...
I think they did market it as a remake, but it was to me it didn't really seem like it was the first time, because of course you can't just not put Ash in.
I think that's where the director was good at, is he didn't try to like copy everything. He just so here's the script, I'm just going to do it my way though.
I mean, they still had the tree limb scene, and it was actually pretty damn graphic. Not as graphic as the original, but they still put that in there, and that was cool.
It was more real.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Last House on the Left when they remade that. That was actually alright, but the whole rape scene part that was hard to watch in the original, they made it like 10 times longer in the remake, and I was like, why is this the part that you focus on the most? Like, it's it's way too long for what it was.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a a little more morbid than the original. When I guess it makes her want to mess the killers up a little more, and it's torturers, I guess, if you will. So there was that was a good one too. The new It was pretty good.
That one was good. I like that one.
There was a little campiness to it that was kind of ridiculous at times, but for the most part, I think they did it the best they could do it. Like I don't think they could have done it any better.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple scenes, I guess, that were maybe too long, but just the way they set it up and just having him in the gutter.
Yeah, it's great.
Georgie.
It's beautifully shot too. Like, it's an amazing looking film. Like, they did a really good job with just actual direction. It was really
the lighting on the eyes and just it was good.
It was good stuff, and there's a lot of creep outs in it that I didn't expect to be there, and it was overall it was good. Very claustrophobic at times too, which is as I get older, I like more of the direction of horror stuff, and I can appreciate like different things other than just the usual gore stuff, which of course I love that too. But when they actually emphasize terror in another way, like just by angles and stuff, like The Shining, they captured that in a whole different way. Like
it makes you feel creepy, like nothing's happening, but there's something wrong.
Yeah, and when I saw The Shining in theaters a couple of years back with my co-host, and it was the first time I had seen it. I'm a younger guy, and it's a whole different film in theaters. The score is a lot louder, so it gets to you.
So The Shining was redone?
No, they put it back out for like an anniversary.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I never heard of that. That's weird.
Yeah, other than the TV version, which was, I'm not a fan of it. I know people are, but seeing that in theaters was like, it changed the whole film for me. Like, I didn't.
Wow. Yeah,
I saw it in a way I've never seen it before. With how loud the music is and ominous it is, and like the angles are, it's on the screen it's meant to be seen on, so it just seems that much more chaotic, and like you almost like you feel how Jack Nicholson's character, is feeling, like, Jack Torrance, and it makes you feel like you're crazy for watching him turn, go nuts. It's pretty remarkable how they were able to capture that, but that movie scares the shit out of me too, a good bit of it. The lady, in the tub, I didn't take a bath for a few weeks after, maybe not weeks, but I didn't want to walk into a bathroom anywhere for a little while because of that.
You push the curtains back every time you're in a hotel.
I don't know, it scared the shit out of me, because I started watching horror movies when I was a little bit too young,
Yeah, me too.
Exorcist was the first. I didn't sleep in my bed for a good week.
Yeah.
Pissed my pants like Reagan did, just walked out, and it was pretty good. And I was like, well, I'm not turning back.
Die up there.
Yeah, it's like I'm a fan now. So what are some of your favorites? Are you a Carpenter fan and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean the earlier stuff for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know who did like the European stuff. Like Radu. I just I know him more by names of the movies, but I don't know. Would you consider? I guess he's more thriller. Roman Polanski. That's not gore. That's not horror movie stuff. But he's got some stuff that's kind of demented.
Like
that's more
suspense thriller.
Yeah, I guess that's more of a thriller kind of stuff. One of his first movies was The Vampire Sucking Freaks or something.
Yeah.
That was that's not really, I guess that's not up your eyes alley, but
well,
it's a crossover, I guess.
That's Rosemary's Baby, right?
Yeah.
That's a classic,
Yeah, that's Polanski.
And again, it's more, that movie's more of like, like a thriller for the most part, but it's definitely a metal film. The woman gets fucked by the devil and has a child. It's awesome. It's a classic story. But that movie's great. I would put that into top tier horror. Underneath the old school stuff, like the Universal stuff and Vincent Price, and Hammer stuff, all that. Of course, Boris Karloff, all the original black and white stuff you gotta give credit to also. But Rosemary's Baby was, I think it's still up there with, with The Exorcist.
Something with The Exorcist, sure.
Yeah, and, all that early stuff. It gets in there. But, man, I want to thank you for coming on, and it's been an honor talking to you, and I'm excited for new Dragonlord for you, and can't wait for everyone else to hear it on September 21st.
Yeah, me either. It's going to be awesome. And thanks for your time, and good luck with the site.
Oh, of course.
Podcasts, all that good stuff, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, man.